Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Pointy Not Sharp. Today we're at the Lone Pine Barracks Infantry Museum taking a look at some of the exhibits within their collection. So today we're taking a look at an absolute monster of a bayonet. This is easily the single largest bayonet I have ever examined, and it's the patent 1879 artillery carbine bayonet made for the Martini Henry artillery carbine. See if we can get it out. Very, very large, very, very heavy. I've got no chance of getting it all in frame at the same time, even with my tripod all the way up and tilted at an angle. I still can't even come close to it. This thing is ginormous. Now, as I said, they're made for the Martini Henry artillery carbine, and they're made by Enfield from 1879 through until 1890, and there were some later ones made by the Wilkinson Sword Company in the mid-1890s, but it's not clear exactly how many. Anyway, we'll jump into the history. So prior to the adoption of the Martini Henry artillery carbine in 1879, the UK and, well, the Empire were using the aging Schneider and Henry artillery carbines, and in the 1870s, we had the introduction of the Martini Henry, being a fantastic single-shot rifle. Sorry, I'm just so taken with this bayonet, it's ginormous. And in 1877, the Director of Artillery ordered 20,000 carbines and bayonets for the next year. Now, initially, common yataghan style of bayonets were brought in, but they were deemed not entirely satisfactory in combination with the carbine. So on the 30th of May 1878, 5,000 Martini Henry artillery carbines and sword bayonets were ordered from Enfield, and Superintendent of the Royal Small Arms Factory submitted 2 patterns of proposed bayonets. So we had patent A, which was an adapted patent of 1875 sawback straight blade bayonet with a 20-inch blade, which was deemed to not quite be long enough, which is ridiculous, and patent B, which was the same but longer. So essentially it had a 25.75 inch blade, absolutely huge. Anyway, in June 1878, a bar hilt was also added to the design, as you can see here. Now, it was approved by the Director of Artillery on the 26th of June 1879 and became the patent of 1879. Now, from 1878 through to 1879, 1,340 of the older patent 1859 cutlass bayonets were converted to the patent of 1879 bayonet, and there wasn't too much that needed to be done to convert them, but you can spot them because the press button is on the opposite side. So while this one has the press button on the right hand side, the conversions have it on the left hand side instead. On top of that, the blade was a tiny bit thinner as well, and the crossguard was a little bit blockier. Sorry, the bar hilt was a little bit blockier than what we have here, which is a bit more rounded at the edges. Now, as for how many were produced what year, I'll go through that very quickly. So they're all made by Enfield, the ones that I have access to, for a total of 65,143, which is a stack. So in 78-79, they converted 1,340 1859s to the 1879, which is what we have here. Well, this is an 1879. And they produced only a single patent of 1879 bayonet from scratch. 79 to 80 was when they started really ramping up production with 15,294. Then 80 to 81, 7,733. 81 to 82, 8,143. 82, 83, 7,179. The next year was 8,761. 84 to 85, 6,000. Although India also had an order of 642, and New South Wales, Australia, which is where I am now, we had 1,000. So while this one is an 82, I do have an 84 here. So who knows if that was part of that order. Guess I'll never know. And 89 to 90, 1,501. So that gives us the total of 65,143, plus approximately 2,000 more by the Wilkinson Sword Company in the 1890s, but we don't have an exact figure on those, and I don't know how those are marked. I'd love to see one. Now we'll jump to the construction very quickly. So we've got a nice big sabre bayonet with a sharpened true edge, a sharpened false edge, which comes down approximately, 40% of the blade, fair way. Got a spear tip point. We've got a rounded fuller running down about 60% of the blade on both sides. We've got 41 saw teeth, which are really sharp. And it should be noted that this bayonet was still in service during World War I, during the height of British propaganda that sawbacks were a war crime. Well, you guys were using them too, so shut up. Moving down, we've got a crossguard, which turns into what we've got here, the bar hilt, which terminates down in the pommel. We've got our muzzle ring right there. It's got an interesting shape, how it sort of comes in and out a couple of times. We've got a hole at the bottom of the bar hilt down here. I believe that was for trottles or lanyards or things like that. And then we've got two, I believe they're composite grips. They're not leather, from what I've heard, retained by 4 rivets. Then on one side we've got a leaf spring and a press button, just like a lot of the older style of bayonets. Now, as I said, the converted ones have the leaf spring and press button on the opposite sides. Now finally, we'll jump into the markings. So we've got date of manufacture on one side, December 82, underneath the crown and royal cipher, which is VR, Victoria Regina. Then the other side we've got a inspection mark and a broad arrow up the very top. On the spine we've got, what is that? Like a inspection mark with a 47 underneath it. I don't know what the significance of the 47 is, maybe inspector number 47. And then we have a number down here on the pommel, 727, possibly a rack number, maybe even a serial number, don't really know. Other markings we have on the top here, we've got our sold out of service mark. I don't know what the significance of that cross is. That could be anything. Got another inspection stamp down here and another little one just there. This thing is covered in markings. Moving down to the scabbard, got a nice big leather body scabbard with a steel end mount and a locket, or chapin locket. We've got a teardrop style of frog stud, and we've got a nice big steel mouth, and it looks like the bayonet only goes in one way. Now looking at the markings on here, we've got our broad arrow, got that serial number or rack number again. Honestly, I'm looking at this for the first time. I haven't done much pre-work for this. Got our sold out of service stamp in the leather, possibly an inspection mark just there, I can't quite tell. And that really appears to be it. No drainage hole in the bottom. So definitely the biggest bayonet I've ever had the opportunity to check out. Absolutely massive. I'd love to get one in my collection, except I probably don't have room for it, so I'll stick to my small Cold War bayonets, which are very easy to pack away. Anyway guys, if I've made any mistakes, which I probably have, please feel free to correct me down in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.